It is Wednesday, January 12th in the NBA, and I'm back with my 3 best picks of the day, including a 1.5 unit play, something we are 5-0, undefeated on the season on those higher unit plays. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. Now, before I get into a recap from yesterday, I gotta remind everyone, tonight is our weekly live stream, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Come check out. Last week we had nearly 250 people in the live stream. We're gonna answer every single question that you guys got for the Wednesday slate in the NBA. Now we'll be live on YouTube as always. Now let's recap yesterday, not because I want to, but because I have to. And it was an 0-4 day, a reverse sweep. It's about as bad as it gets. And I'll be the first to admit, we're in a bit of a cold spell. And so you can go down below, leave your comments. Austin, you suck, another losing day. I'm fading all your picks. Go for it. And I've been here before, and people that leave those comments, I apparently really have never sports bet before. That's all I take away when I see those comments, because just because I make videos doesn't mean that I'm immune to cold spells. I know other YouTube channels might just pretend like, we just had a terrible day. We're just going to pretend brushed it past, and we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. We're not going to pretend like that doesn't happen on the Calling Our Shot channel. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to admit it, and we've had losing streaks before, and we've been fortunate enough. The first 2 to 3 months of the NBA season, I was going back, we never had more than 2, maybe 3 consecutive losing days in a row, which is a ridiculous run. Cold streaks are going to happen. This is sports betting. You're going to get, eventually the luck's going to go against you, and that's exactly what we've had. And we're fortunate enough still be over 22 units on the year. We were over 20 units last year, and we had some ridiculously cold runs. I mean, we've had good runs too. We went 11-0. We brought up the brooms 3 straight days. So I appreciate all the people still riding, still watching the videos. I appreciate you guys over the last 2 days, 2-8, losing 5 of those picks on the hook, which I don't know how to tell you guys. It's about as unlucky as it gets. 1 point, rebound, or assist away from cashing those picks, like DeAndre Ayton, like Nikola Jokic last night. And I would argue you could put Lonzo Ball in that same category. He had 13 points. He was going under. And then Billy Donovan puts him in, up 35 points. And of course, he hits his over at the beginning of the 4th quarter. It's unlucky stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We appreciate all the people doing the channel. We're going to keep doing the videos regardless. We're going to keep doing it. The process will remain the same. And I'm going to continue to bet with the data and, not use my emotions to just force a ton of bets here. It's not what we're going to do. Now, my last note, podcast live today, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Check that out. We talk about where we got the Calling Our Shot name, our NFL playoff predictions, and so much more. So go check out that. Let's waste no more time. We're going to get into my best bet of the day, a 1.5 unit play. I'm super confident on this. The best bet segment on a 20-9 run. So despite the cold streak, best bet segment still doing pretty well. Now this 1.5 unit play, it isn't me trying to force to get back units that we might have lost the last 2 days. We're not doing that. We don't force bets here. What I does show is my confidence, and I love this bet. And regardless of if we were on a hot streak or a cold streak, this would have been a 1.5 unit play. Without further ado, here he is. Luka Doncic over 8.5 assists, minus 125 on points bet. Since returning from injury, Luka, he's had 14, 8, 15 and 10 assists in the last 4 games, easily cashing in 3 of them, finishing on the hook once. Over that 4-game span, he's averaging 18.5 assist chances per game, and so all we need is 9 of those 18 to cash this over. Now, the one game he finished on the hook against the Golden State Warriors, a team that allows the 2nd fewest assists per game in the NBA. The Knicks today, his opponent, they allowed the 18th fewest, so more or less in the top 12 most assists in the NBA, a little bit different than the Golden State Warriors. Now we look at it, over the last 10 games, the Knicks have only played 1 player that has had 15 assist chances versus them. That just goes against your schedule. You're just playing guys that aren't passing the ball too much. In that one game, Spencer Dinwiddie, he had 15 assist chances, and he had 12 assists in that span. Keep in mind, Luka averaging 17.5 assist chances on the year. Luka's gone over this line in 12 of his last 15 games. And now let's consider his previous games versus the Knicks, as this Knicks roster is pretty similar to years past. His last 4 matchups against the Knicks, 10, 11, 7, and 19 assists. His 19 assists, his most recent matchup versus the Knicks back in April. In that game, Luka, 26 assist chances, which is a ton, but only 7 more than what he's been averaging the last 4 games. And you look at it, the Knicks defense just gave up 11 and 9 assists to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. 2 guys that don't normally pass the ball too much. Luka, fresh off a 14 assist game versus the Bulls, a team that's very good at defense, and a team that he just picked apart. The Knicks defense has not been great this season. I imagine the Knicks might try to double him, guard him with RJ Barrett, try to get the ball out of Luka's hands, leave people wide open. I think Luka will dominate. It's a national TV game. I expect Luka to put on a big show tonight. Don't mind his PRA over as well. It's worth noting, sharper books have this line at minus 175, so the minus 125, minus 120, 35-ish range on a bunch of other sports books. You can get it. Take it, or it's a 1.5 unit play. Super confident on him. I'll lay 1.5 units, which just means we're playing a little bit more than we normally do for a 1 unit play. We're all in on Luka over 8.5 assists. Now moving on to an under for the day. Hassan Whiteside under 27.5 points plus rebounds, minus 125 on DraftKings. Now, when I was looking at this number, I was going to take his PRA line, and then I looked at the difference between PRAs and points plus rebounds, and they were the same exact number, 27.5 on multiple different sportsbooks. So there's absolutely no reason you should take a PRA line if you can take the points rebounds line. That is the exact same number. Now, if you don't have both of them, I love the PRA line as well, and you'll understand why. Now, you look at it, Whiteside will be starting in place of Rudy Gobert again tonight. He's done that the last 3 games. In those 3 games, he's combined for 14, 16, and 35 points plus rebounds, going easily over in 1 game and easily under in 2 of those games. Today, in that 1 game he went over, it was against the Detroit Pistons. Today, gets a much tougher matchup against the Cavaliers with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And what Hassan Whiteside loves to do, he loves to hack. He loves to foul. He's had 5 fouls in 2 of those 3 games. The 1 game, he didn't have that many fouls. Was against the Pistons when you have Isaiah Stewart, who doesn't really try to score or do much on the offensive end. Now you got a guy like Jared Allen, guys like Evan Mobley, even guys like Kevin Love, all the guys that start for or play big-time minutes for this Cavaliers roster. These are all guys that are aggressive on offense. These are all guys that want to score the ball. And you look at Jared Allen, he tries to dunk on a ton of people. He dunked on a couple people last game. Now you look at it, I guarantee you, Hassan Whiteside is going to foul trouble. And if he doesn't get into foul trouble, so be it, because you look at the Hawks or the Cavs on the offensive side of the ball. The Cavs giving up I don't know if I said the Hawks, but the Cavs giving up the fewest points per game to opposing centers on the season. If we look at the previous game where the Jazz took on the Cavaliers, Rudy Gobert had 6 points and 20 rebounds going under this line. And he was the only center that the Jazz had that night. Whiteside was inactive that night, so it was just Gobert. He played 38 minutes, which is well above what Whiteside has played the last 3 games, 34, 25, and 30 minutes the last 3. Now, I don't think, Whiteside might be the only center on the roster tonight. Quinn Snyder's not playing him 38 minutes. I can guarantee you that. He will not see that many minutes. This is not a guy that normally plays up to that many minutes. And if you look at it, even if he does get into foul trouble and plays against the second unit, he'll likely have to go against Evan Mobley or Kevin Love, 2 guys that stand outside and shoot a bunch of shots out there. Give me Hassan Whiteside's under. Sharper books love his unders in points and rebounds, and I'm just combining them both today. They love the under in PRAs, and then I just took a stat away and didn't lose a single line. I'm all in. Hassan Whiteside, under 27.5 points plus rebounds. Moving on to my last play of the day, it is going to be a guy that has made us money over the year. We're going to ask him to dig us out of a hole. Deontay Murray, over 20.5 points, minus 116 on FanDuel. Now, more of the story here, the Spurs, they're without Derek White, Doug McDermott, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and basically like 4 more other guys. They have a ton of guys out today, and that has not stopped Deontay Murray. Well, that has really just, not stopped Deontay Murray. He said, you know what, I got to step up, and over the last 4 games, bumped those guys out. He's had 22, 27, 19, and 24 points. Biggest thing, though, he's attempting a ton of shots, 21.25 field goal attempts the last 4 games, attempting 19 plus in all 4 of them. And basically, we're just betting on a guy to have a point per shot. I absolutely love it. Deontay Murray, very talented. He's attempted 18 or more shots in 17 games this season, which, like I just said, he's attempted 19 plus in all 4 of these past 4 games, averaging over 21 field goal attempts, and they're back at home. But he's attempted 18 shots in 17 games this season, gone over 13 of those 17 matchups, including 8 of the last 9. 3 of the 4 games he went under were against good defensive teams like the Nuggets, the Suns, the Nets, all teams that guard opposing point guards pretty well. The Rockets, sadly, are not that. They currently have the worst defensive rating in the NBA. They currently allow the most points per game in the NBA at over 116 per game. And that number goes up on the road, which they are on the road today against San Antonio. Over the last 30 games, they've allowed the 3rd most points per game to opposing point guards. I want to take a step back and look at guys that just shoot a bunch against this Rockets team and how they perform. The last 25 players to attempt 16 or more shots against the Houston Rockets have scored 21 points or more. 20 of them have done that. 20 of the last 25 people with 16 or more shots have hit this over. I think Deontay Murray, he will get his shots up tonight. 21.25 shots per game in the last 4 games. It's going to continue to be aggressive against one of the worst defenses in the NBA. So I'll ride with it. Those are my 3 plays of the day. We're going with that 1.5 unit play on Luka Doncic, over 8.5 assists. Hassan Whiteside, under 27.5 points plus rebounds. Deontay Murray, over 20.5 points. Those are my 3 plays. I could force more, but I don't really want to do it. We're still in a little bit of a cold spell. I think we're bouncing out of it today with at least a 2-in-1 day. If I do find something that I think has great value, I'll let you guys know down below in the comments, and I'll let you guys know on the live stream, which I will see you guys tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate you guys all for riding with me. Even though we're in a bit of a cold spell, we're going to bounce back out of it. I promise you that. Mark my words. Last but not least, the podcast live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And will be linked on the screen when it is live. I'll update the video, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's been Austin. Let's bounce back today and have a great day. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's been Austin. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.